Welcome to Math Mini Lessons. In this lesson, we're going to represent multiplication and division in word problems. So while I go through the two teacher problems, I want you to look to see how I show the criteria for success. So you should be able to look for these 4 things in the problem. Hit pause and take a moment to read them, and we'll start our first 2 examples together. Word problems can be really tricky, but try and think of them just as stories, things that are happening in a story, and your role in the story is to figure something out. So I'm going to use solve, which is a method that I use to break down word problems. The S is for studying the problem. So I'm going to read the problem first. A farmer picks 6 baskets of apples, which with each basket holding 8 apples. He divides the apples equally amongst 12 friends. How many apples does each friend get? Now I'm going to read it for information. This was the important information I see. That there are 6 baskets of apples. Each basket has 8. So that's already making me think there's a relationship between the baskets and the apples. And I'm supposed to share all the apples with 12 friends. And what is my role in the story? So now what is my goal? Is to figure out how many apples each friend gets. So that goes for my S. How many apples does each friend get? Now I'm going to organize my facts. I know that there are 6 baskets. I know that 8 apples are in each basket. So I use the word per. That just means every basket has the same. And that all the apples are getting shared with 12 friends. So now that I have this information, I need to come up with a plan. So I still need to figure out how many apples each friend gets. Well, so again, this is like a story, the beginning, middle, and end. In the beginning, I know that there are 6 baskets with 8 apples inside. So I know I have each basket, and I'm repeatedly getting 8 more. That makes me think of multiplication. 6 times 8 will tell me how many apples I have. But it still doesn't tell me how many apples each friend gets. But I know I'm supposed to equally share them. And that makes me think division. So whatever that first number is, I'm going to divide by 12 to find out how many apples each friend gets. And so my plan is this. 6 times 8, I'm going to do that first. And that's why I put it in parentheses. And then whatever that number is, I'm going to divide by 12 to get the number. All right, hit pause and jot this down into your notes. Now that we have our plan, now I need to verify it, which just means prove it works. I just needed a word that had V in it, and verify is an adult word that worked. So how do I verify it? I'm going to do the 2 steps. First, I'm going to start with the part I can do, 6 times 8. And I know 6 times 8 makes 48. Now I could use that to do the second part. 48 divided by 12 equals 4. That tells me what? What is that for? Well, that 4 just means how many apples each friend gets. So my E means to explain my answer. I can't just put 4 and circle it. I want to make sure that someone knows what the 4 means. And in this case, it means every friend gets 4 apples. And that's how I use solve. Hit pause and jot this down into your notes. Let's model one more problem with solve. The picture below shows that 3 cans have the same mass as 9 identical boxes. Each can has a mass of 30 grams. So the cans are on the left with the 30 written on them, and the identical boxes are on the right. What is the mass in grams of each box? All right, so as we're studying through this problem, here's the important information I found. That 3 cans have the same mass as 9 identical boxes. Those 2 are equal. Those 2 sets of groups are equal. And that we know the mass of each can is 30 grams. And what is my role in the problem is to figure out the mass of each gram of the mass in grams of each box. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. Here's our important information. The 3 cans are equal to the 9 boxes, and each can is 30 grams. So what's my plan? How can I figure out how much each box is? Well, I know I can figure out how much all the cans weigh. So that's the first part of the problem. So this is telling me this is a 2-step problem. We can figure that part first. Then I know that each box is the same weight. So I could take that total and divide it by 9. So my number sentence, my plan is going to be 3 times 30 divided by 9 is equal to some number. So hit pause and jot this down into your notes. Now let's verify our plan. We know what it is, so let's put it into action. And there are 2 parts to this, so we'll do the first part first. 30 times 3 is going to give us 90 grams. So everything on the right has 90 grams. And that means everything on the left is also weighs 90 grams. So I'm going to take that 90 grams and divide it by 9 to get 10. So what does that 10 mean? Let's explain our answer. The mass of each box is 10 grams. All right, let's hit pause and also jot this down in our notes. And if you want to check your work, you can put 10 in each of the 9 boxes, or 9 times 10, and I know this side has 90, and 3 times 30, this side has 90, so they are equal to each other. All right, we're going to jump into 2 guided practice problems now where you get a chance to try them out on your own, and I'll still show the solution. Now you're going to try the first guided practice on your own. I'll read the problem for you. Mr. Lee buys 8 packs of pencils, with each pack containing 10 pencils. I hope you're underlining 8 packs and containing 10 pencils. He splits the pencils equally among 4 classroom teachers. So automatically you should be thinking, are my numbers multiplying or dividing? Are my numbers getting bigger or smaller? And how many pencils does each classroom receive? So hit pause, work out this problem, and then I'll show you the solution in a moment. Okay, I hope you're ready. And here's the answer in 3, 2, 1. Each class receives 20 pencils. If you have the same answer as me, you can move on to the next guided practice. If you don't, stay right here. We'll go through the problem together. So in this part, we know that he has 8 packs of pencils, and each pack has 10 pencils. So 8 packs and 10 pencils each. What's the relationship between these 2 numbers? We know that each pack has 10, so I'm multiplying. I'm making more. And then we know that we're equally sharing with 4 classrooms. So that means you would have been dividing at that part. So this is another 2-step problem. I can't equally share all the pencils till I know how many pencils we have. And so we have to do some work here. So your number sentence could have been 8 times 10 and then divided by 4. That could have been your number sentence for you to solve. Now, if you have written it into 2 different parts, that's fine too. I'm really curious to hear in the comments if you had a different way, put it in there as well. So the first thing we would have done, and this is to find our number of pencils, you would have done 8 times 10 to get 80. And then you would have done 80 divided by 4 gives us 20, and that would have given you the 20 pencils. So jot this down, check and see where your work was different, and if you still have a question, you can put it into the comments, or you can ask an adult, like a parent or someone at school, for where your answer was a little bit different. Let's go into the last guided practice for today, and this was multiple choice. Mr. Bachu bought 24 pounds of potting soil. Which sentence could describe the potting soil Mr. Bachu bought? So this one's interesting, which could be a number story for it. So hit pause and choose an answer. Okay, let's show a solution in 3, 2, 1. There it is. A. He bought 6 bags that weigh 4 pounds. Why could that describe the potting soil? Because if I have 24 pounds, I could represent this as 6 bags, so I could have 6 circles, and each circle has 4 pounds. And if you were to add those up, or skip count, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, they would all be equal to 24. So that is the best solution. Some kids may have said, well, what about 4 bags that weigh 20 pounds? Well, think about that. If you have 4 bags and each one has 20 pounds, you would not have 24 pounds. You would have a lot more than that. So I hope this was super helpful for you. Make sure that as you're working through problems, you're getting feedback from others, and try and think through what are the things that are really easy for you to figure out, and where are the things that are challenging. And what's challenging for a lot of kids is being able to recognize when you have a 2-step problem. So don't be discouraged if this is taking a long time. It just means we need more practice. And that's it for today, Math Marbles. Get some practice and feedback in, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye!